Well, it is the fifth time in a row that I am doing this interview with Doublelift after he's won finals. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Alienware. All right, I've run out of questions after all these. I don't even know what to say. No, so you helped TL get to their fourth win in a row, which everybody seems to say it makes them like the best organization in LCS or most successful or whatever, especially because of all the games in a row. What does that mean for you? Does it mean anything?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. Like when when I was when LCS first started, it was kind of C9 and TSM, and then for a good amount of time, like I think like a between season 4 and 5, C9 was kind of on the downswing, and then it was like TSM's kind of like the start of their resurgence, I guess. But then when I was on CLG, we like broke it, and then afterwards, CLG never didn't have a very strong run. They had like two splits, and then when I joined TSM again, um, it was we were just unbeatable. Like it was just our era, I guess. And I think seasons 8 and 9, it's Team Liquid's era of super dominance. Like no one can beat us. It feels like, and we're just so much better than everyone else. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it feels nice that we've kind of had the longest run consecutively, at least. And yeah, it feels nice that I can like look back and just say definitively like most likely no one was gonna beat four in a row, and most likely I can look back and say I was on the most dominant team ever in LCS.
Well, yeah. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's a chance that you can continue this on for a long period of time?
Um, well, some of my best games ever have been on Team Liquid actually. Like I mean, like I've had like crazy moments and stuff in playoffs on other teams. Like CLG, I got a penta, and on TSM I had like the Lucian play and a lot of other good plays. But on Team Liquid, like maybe not so much. Just like in playoffs games, but at Worlds and at MSIs, like I've had really insane pop off games, and so I feel good. Like this new chapter for me has been really positive for my career. Starting to like accomplish what I really wanted to do, which was international success, and keeping it up. I mean, in order to do well internationally, you just have to be a strong team. So, like in the end, like winning is a combination of like luck and skill, obviously. So unless we get really unlucky, I don't see our skill going down anytime soon. Maybe we can keep it up.
In the hype trailer that they released for the finals, you said something. There was all these hype moments, and then they got to you towards the end, and you're like, "I'm not saying I want to lose, but it'd be interesting if they make it interesting at least, or something to that effect," which I thought was very funny because everybody else is like, "Yeah, I have to make sure they don't get their fourth win in a row," and Jensen's like, "I'm gonna prove that in this game," and you're just like, I don't need to lose, but it would be nice if it's Do you feel like this was worth it, or do you think that this accomplished what you were looking for?
Yeah, like game fives are super hype, like backs to the wall, like no stops. This sort of the pressure is what I like. Like I love the competition of, like obviously the game, but also the outside pressure of like the gravity of being in finals in front of a huge crowd, like in a clutch moment in a clutch game, like the last game. Um, and so like when we were down 0-2 against TSM, I was like, this is what I wanted. Like in the end, like I was happy that we went down 0-2, and against C9, it was really close, and that's kind of what I want too. I want to thrive in pressure because the bigger pressure is coming. Like Worlds is coming, MSI is always coming, and I want to be able to just like lean into it and play my best in spite of it.
You lost game two and game three. I'm curious if there was anything that was different about those two games. Like, did you do anything differently before those two games that led to the losses that you didn't do in the other games?
I would say game two was just me playing over aggressive against a strong gank setup, and I just died to the jungler once. Then next time it was really because of that, like it snowballed into them being really easily diving us, and I was pretty much just like handicapped for the entire like first 20 minutes of the game because I got set so far behind. And after that, I realized like C9's bot lane will never win against us 2v2 ever unless I die to the jungler. So if it's just 2v2 or if it's 3v3, we will win. If our jungler comes and theirs doesn't come, it's game over. So like the rest of the series, I kind of played with that mindset. And in game three, I was actually stomping pretty hard. Like Sneaky was hugging his turret and crying a lot. Um, but the team, like we just made some bad decisions and lost a lot of big team fights. So they kind of just snowballed. And I think we just kind of like got run over in game three. It wasn't nearly as close as game two. But I wasn't worried. I think after we were down 0-2 or after we were down 1-2, I was never worried about losing. I just was thinking about how can we win? Obviously, you don't want to dwell on potentially losing. You just want to think about productive stuff.
So you don't think that there were any distractions before game two or game three, anything that made you lose focus that then later on you didn't do, and that's what allowed you to win?
My friends do have this Discord chat where often they talk about me and then delete messages. But I was checking that between the games, seeing if my friends had any sort of words of encouragement. And no, they did not. Usually just my friends seem to be all snakes.
Oh.
Snakes in the grass.
Yeah. Because I think there was a lot of, I've heard there was a lot of really good words in there. Somebody even said they were so proud when you walk out because the crowd cheers more for you than for anybody else. And then you were commenting in that chat when people were saying, "Don't comment in this chat. Focus on the fucking game."
I did heed those words. As far as the being proud of me and stuff like that, it seems like my friends might be lying through their teeth.
Ah.
Yeah, no, I've never made anyone proud in my whole life.
Oh, that's so depressing. Wow, Jesus.
Kidding.
Is that why you keep trying to win so that you can finally make somebody, or you keep winning in the hopes that someday somebody will finally be proud of you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just waiting for one person to be proud of me,
Yeah.
and then I can just, throw in the towel.
Okay, good. So no one should ever be proud of you because if they ever do, then that would be when you'd just retire.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Anyway, so you're headed off to Worlds. How's everything going to be different this year? Because seemingly it has not been in the past.
Okay, I think in the past I've always hated Korean boot camps, and it's bad to speak ill of them because we are obviously being done a big favor by the Asian teams that are willing to scrim us and accommodate, like, oh, all these Western teams are playing. They kind of expect to get scrims with us, and we'll test them out and see which ones are worth scrimming and how much they're worth scrimming. And like, I've always just really disliked it because first off, it's just very uncomfortable, in my opinion, for you to go to a completely new place and kind of like just feel out of your element. So far from home. Europe is a little bit like it's obviously like still a step removed from NA, but a lot of the things in are very similar, and oftentimes people will speak English and the food you're more used to and stuff like that. So like all the little things, in my opinion, do add up. And throughout my Korean bootcamp experiences, which I've had a lot, they have not been pleasant. They have always been really, really stressful. People blow up, like just I've blown up. Like it's just a really high stakes environment, and then like I'll often hear about like what it's like to bootcamp for what's for other teams, and it's really not like that. Not like other NA teams, like for I guess like European and Korean teams, it's not nearly the same. So this year we're going to bootcamp in Europe because Worlds is in Europe, and I think that'll be much better for our team. And it's also nice because we won't actually be scrimming against any of the Asian teams unless they choose to come to Europe as well. I think it'll literally just be NAU are going to bootcamp in Europe, and then all the other regions are going to bootcamp in Korea or China. And when Worlds comes around, I feel like it'll just be, first off, a lot more interesting. There's not going to be homogenous Worlds meta, and also maybe we'll just be a lot more comfortable with the situation.
Do you think that could create like a West versus East narrative for this Worlds? Because it kind of feels like that's been building for a little bit anyway. And now it's kind of fun that these teams will be scrimming in isolation with each other.
Yeah, I definitely feel like West versus East has been a big deal. Oftentimes, though, whenever, like, especially when Europe does better than America, it just becomes Europe versus everyone else. But then if Europe's doing poorly, then it becomes West versus East. Go figure. Anyways, basically what I'm saying is G2 fans are really insufferable. And, I'll admit I have my fair share of, like, very, very in-your-face fans. But Those people tend to quiet down when it comes to international tournaments. This time, though, I'm really hoping for a better narrative for me and my team. And every single year I go to Worlds, it's the same score, 3-3. And I'm always one game away or one tiebreaker away from making out of groups. And then who knows? Like, best of fives, I feel like, is where I thrive and I play much better. Um, I feel like this team, we have so much potential, and we've shown our potential kind of at MSI. Not our full potential, but like some of it. So this Worlds, I just hope. I don't really care about West versus East in the end. Just my personal opinion. I don't care about any other NA team. I want to be the most successful American team ever, and then I can maybe be somewhat happy. But in the end, I just want to win Worlds.
So you're like, I don't care about West versus East. I care about Team Liquid versus everyone. That's your narrative.
Exactly. That's it. West versus East is more of a fan thing.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see like, oh yeah, like, oh, I hope Doublelift cheers on Cloud9 because of American pride and stuff like that. It's like, I just want to win, dude. Like, if Cloud9 wins or loses, it has pretty much no effect on me. That's just an example. Like, right. I actually, that's not a great example because I actually do want Dennis to do well because he's my friend, Svenskaren. But yeah, like, I don't think Western teams cheer for each other at Worlds. I think a lot of it is fake, and it's just something the fans kind of like want to rally behind because if you were like, for example, a fan of TSM last year, XD, then you had no team to root for at Worlds except for all of your American teams, all of the LCS teams. And over time, maybe this narrative will go down a bit because it just feels natural that it would stop.
The last interview that we did, which was I think a week ago, you had said a quote which was like you were in insane form, and if you keep it up at Worlds, you're going to be an Uzi level or whatever. I think in that interview, potentially, if not right after, correctly knew that line was going to get memed to shit, and like Cloud9 started tweeting it, and Reddit started posting it, and all this stuff. Now a week later, I don't know if you still feel like you're in insane form. I don't know if you want to, I don't know, amend that statement, or if you still think you're going to be playing like Uzi does at Worlds. I don't know.
Playing like Uzi, I mean, it's just an example, but Uzi is also in crazy form. I just watched this game last night. It was insane, like just 1v5s every game. I think I'm in great form right now. I want to make sure I keep this form coming into the Worlds Bootcamp, so I'm not going to take the entire time off. I'm going to spend a lot of it playing solo queue or watching VODs, and because that's what's important to me. And I think people were gonna meme me for sure. Whether or not, like, if I lost, like, it would have been that, or would have been like all my tweets about Cloud9 being the runner-ups and stuff like that. Like, I love talking shit, and I want to be confident coming into every playoffs. Like, if I like got an interview and I was like, oh, I'm in whatever form, guys. Like, I'm just gonna play like my average. Like, that's not what I want, and that's not what the fans want to hear. So, anyways, I think if I keep up the performances that I had, by the way, like, I just, realistically speaking, like, I think I really outperformed Sneaky in every single game today, even the ones that we lost. And in general, like, in LCS, I think that's just a given that I will be like a few levels above the next best AD carry. And I love the responsibility of having that, because if people didn't hold me accountable, then I wouldn't do it. You know, it's like if, I don't know, if you like go to school and the teacher doesn't check your homework, like, you're probably not going to do it. So I like that people have these high expectations of me, and they make sure that, like, I live up to those expectations that I set for myself or that the community sets for me, and it makes me more motivated to play well. Because, like, ultimately, there was not a lot of motivation to win my 7th trophy. Like, there's not. It's mostly about, like, Team Liquid's, you know, dominance, and also making sure I don't look like a dumbass. So, like, that's kind of why I'm playing the way I am.
So you think whenever you go on stage, it's not like, oh, I want to lift that trophy again. It's like, I really don't want to look like a dumbass.
Kind of, yeah. Like, at all places, I do want to lift the trophy again. I think I want to lift the trophy much less than Svenskaren does. Because it's been a long time since he's done it. And Sneaky. Like, it's been a long time. Like, they probably dream about it. They fantasize about it because they haven't done it in a long time. They forgot what it feels like. I remember exactly what it feels like. It's a piece of metal. It's kind of heavy. So I think, like, I have to think of other ways to keep myself motivated. Like, you know, maybe this, like, greatest of all time player thing, or maybe, like, the most dominant team of all time thing. and those things matter to me more than just the trophy. The trophy is just like it's just a symbol. It's a symbol of something. For some people, it's like that's it. It's just the trophy is a trophy. It's a championship. You want that. But for me, it's like it means a lot of different things, and that's how I keep motivated.
What about just another entry in Doublelift's trophy case, our Doublelift's trophy case?
I like that. I like that. Nothing will ever pop off as much as the first one that made it to r/all. #1 in r/all. Imagine that, dude. If I have kids, I'll be telling them about that. I'll be like, dude, at one time, like, I don't know if Reddit will still be alive, but I'll be like, one time I was #1 in r/all. That's nuts.
Do you want to have kids?
Is that what this interview is going about? Dude,
We've talked about so many things. I just feel like it's finally time to have that conversation, you know? Would you adopt or would you have them? I mean, I don't know.
I'm open to adopting, but I don't think so. I think I want to pass on these insane genes that I have. I think I'm blessed with a lot of things. Like, what? I am.
I'm
Genetically, like I just
waiting to hear what you're blessed with.
I have a lot of blessings. Like I do. I have terrible vision, but in a lot of other ways, the hair.
The hair, yeah. I was gonna say the hair was where I was
I have the really thick glasses. Yeah. Actually, wait, no. I guess I'm not genetically blessed. I guess I'm not. But really, like, I think it'd be cool. Like one day I'm gonna be old and bored. I'm gonna be rich, old, and bored. Okay. And that's not a great reason to have a kid, but maybe I'll just have one anyways. And I want to raise him to be a better person than me.
God help us all. Hope you do. Anyway, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Yeah, if you guys have any childbearing tips or child raising tips, just let me know.
Childbearing tips. Could you please give Peter some childbearing tips? That would be great. He'd love to know.
Rearing, child rearing. Whoops, not bearing. I'm not going to be bearing any children. At least I hope not. What else? Oh, I just want to say it's been a crazy, crazy 9 years. And every year I always say this is the year. So I'm just going to flip it finally. This is not the year. I need to stop jinxing myself. It's not the year, guys. Don't get your hopes up for Worlds. I'm going to play like shit. And that's that.
If you keep this form up, you're going to be in, I don't know, some terrible player's form.
I'm going to be sneaky form by Worlds. Jokes.
Oh. You can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. You know, I have gotten so tired of the same thing happening over and over again. I have to interview Peter, he wins finals, Team Liquid does a press conference. Ugh, it's really tiresome. But you know what isn't tiresome? The great deals that you can get at alienware.com/Travis. By the way, Alienware support everything that we do here. We're going to be going off to PAX in just a couple days to go check out TFT at their booth. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a great time. Also, they've got some cool stuff coming from Intel Gamer Days in just a short time. I'm sure if you follow their social channels, you'll see some of that. They've got giveaways already going. There's an Alienware one. You can go to the Team Liquid's Alienware training facility, meet Team Liquid, and during the off season, just go check out their Twitter. There's a bunch of cool stuff you can win there, including some cool gear. Thank you so much to Alienware for supporting all this content, and thank you for watching it.